Given the nature of the cybersecurity industry, we have been inundated with a lot of requests to be able to provide certain ideas about what skills might be relevant in getting started in the cybersecurity industry. And to be frank, some of these skills are essentially some of the lowest entry barriers that you can think about when you are trying to get into the industry. There are other relevant cybersecurity skills that may not necessarily be reflected in this discussion, but you might want to pay attention to this because it might give you one of the fastest way to get into the industry. The cybersecurity industry, of course, because of by its nature, is cross-cutting across several units or several departments within a business organization. I mean, even a mom and a pop shop in it by itself could have a need to segregate certain set of duties in that one person might be responsible for collecting monies and locking them up in a drawer, while another person might be responsible for accounting typically. But cybersecurity skills by themselves are rather complementary with several areas that might seem not so obvious from the very beginning, but are very, very important going forward. Those skills that are important in helping cybersecurity career advance further than it should includes having an understanding of IT governance and information governance, information system coordination, information security, information assurance, and analytics are also skills that could come in handy in advancing your. As you're thinking about moving forward, you also want to be able to learn how to visualize data, to be able to provide information content publishing and hone your consultancy skills. Other areas that could also complement your career is your ability to provide specialist advice, which goes hand in hand with your consultancy skills. IT management is another area that is being considered as a very important skill in a cybersecurity career. While doing that, you also have to learn how to be innovative or provide innovative skills to organizations that are in need of it. Although we mentioned that their complementary skills are important, certain skills could also be considered as very important in helping you to perform your job adequately. That also includes the ability to perform research, to understand business processes and to help to improve those business processes, and your ability to also manage knowledge that you collect as a result of the type of work that you do goes a long way in helping an organization or helping you to add value to an organization. It is also important that as at an entry level, you also learn how to, or probably as you advance, you also need to learn how to utilize enterprise or read and understand what an enterprise and business architecture is. You also want to be able to understand what business risk might entail and the associated sustainability requirement of any. Again, cybersecurity is not a static field, so your ability to understand emerging technology and how you can monitor them, or as the case might be when it is deployed in an organization, your ability to support continuity management within an organization, your understanding of network planning within an organization and how various areas of the network might intersect with very critical business processes and how you can provide security to that effect. You also need to understand solution architecture as a core skill that could also help you in making sure that when solutions are being developed, you are also taking into consideration your ability or the ability of the organization to be adequately or to adequately design that solution in a secured format. You also want to be able to learn what data management is, because it's also an important factor that organizations are taking into consideration and how they manage their data. You also need to know the approaches and the tools and the methods that are being used within that organization. Project management skill is one capability that goes a long way, and it cuts across several multiple areas as well, not just necessarily in the area of cybersecurity. So you also want to understand what requirements definition and management is, which is also a complementary skill to project management. System development management is another skill that is also very useful, because organizations are looking to develop systems and they want to be able to manage the process from start to finish adequately. So learning that skill would be something that would be very, very useful for your career advancement and progression. Another skill, of course, is system design and software design. They are sort of complementary one to the other, but of course they are not mutually exclusive, but they operate independently as well. Programming and software development is another skill that is very, very critical in terms of your cybersecurity career growth. Areas that are also important is the ability to understand real-time and embedded systems development, more so if you are having to work with industrial systems. Data modeling and design is another important tool that you could potentially leverage in making either a business case or reporting performance or key performance indicators. Your database design is another important skill you could learn that can help you to understand how secure a database could be from the very start before it is deployed. Network design also is another important skill. You want to know what the DMZ might be in any one particular case, what the network boundaries might be, what are the key components, and what are the key design factors you want to take into consideration while designing that, to make sure that the system is secured and is not easily exploited by outsiders. You also want to learn how to perform testing of your information systems or information security or software or even hardware, as the case might be. Safety engineering is another skill that is very important in helping you to move your career forward, in that you can provide a cyber and a secured approach for safety engineering. The other skills that you could also use is learning how to perform both user research, user experience analysis, user experience design, user experience evaluation, because the user is a very important stakeholder in terms of whatever product you or system you are designing, and as a result of your ability to interact with these various areas of user research, you could elucidate or probably be able to harvest very important use cases that you may not have considered during your process design. So the user is a very important stakeholder, and you have to be able to build a skill that can help you harvest the user's experience and helping you to further enhance products that are going to the market. System integration and building, porting software and configuration, and other complementary skills that would. You also need to understand what a hardware design is, in terms of what are the components that are inserted within a hardware, whether they are they form part of the trusted computing base, as the case might be. You want to also consider system installation and decommissioning. Those are very important part of the system development life cycle. So when you think about the skills that can help you enhance your career, system installation and decommissioning, availability management, service level management, which is but not limited to service level agreements, service acceptance, and configuration management. Last but not the least, in this set of skills, you might want to also learn what asset management is, because it's very important in the case of risk management and inventory management. You want to be able to learn skills associated with change management, and as systems go through processes of change as a result of either internal or external factors, you want to be able to manage that. You also want to be of either internal or external factors. You want to be able to manage that. You also want to be on top of things when you're thinking about release and deployment. System software is a very important skill you need to know, whether it is Windows, whether it is Linux or Mac or whatever other operating system might be, or you might be responsible for. You also want to understand some of the core principles surrounding those. You want to be able to also handle capacity management and understand, in this case, for example, in the case of a cloud system, you have to be thinking about how you can either make your system elastic, so much so that users can continue to have the required bandwidth depending on the season or the time of the year. Security administration, finally, is another important skill you also want to learn to add to the piece of work that you do. What are the other skills that can help you to continue to grow in this job? You want to also understand penetration testing and know how it can be used. You want to understand radio frequency engineering, because you are using radio frequency, and anyone with a device can capture those pieces of any nature of communication that takes place across such frequency. You want to also understand application support and how you can support a business. You also want to know and understand critical IT infrastructure and learn skills around database design and project storage management. Learning, design and development, learning delivery, teaching, and subject formation might not necessarily be intuitive in this case when it comes to cybersecurity skills, but they are very important skills, especially when it comes to user awareness and training and delivery of those training. Awareness and training and delivery of those training, and your ability to measure the performance associated with those kind of training as well. As you progress being a manager, you want to also be able to identify areas of need for people that might be reporting to you that can help you to also learn professional development and quality management. Quality management is a very key skill here, because the results that you collect or the data you collect and report upwards in a senior role is very important in helping management make a decision regarding the investments that they make. Quality assurance, measurement, conformance review, digital forensics, supplier management, and contract management are all complementary skills, in that quality assurance is related to the last skill that we mentioned with regards to how you can help to make sure that whatever is going out of the unit or out of your hands are of good quality. So you have to be able to ensure that you can assure that it has gone through due care and due diligence. You want to also be able to perform measurement, which is not too far away from your ability to also work with analytics. Conformance review is another part where you want to be able to ensure that your quality assurance is actually up to scratch. Digital forensic is another skill that would be very helpful and is very useful for organizations, especially as they perform incident response and management, or if there is a need for you to maintain chain of custody for law enforcement, as the case might be. Supplier management is another tool, another skill that comes a long way in helping you to manage how an organization ensures that its third parties and as well as other suppliers within the supply chain are well and adequately managed, in that they are compliant with an organization's security requirement. Because remember, a supplier is a third party and an outsider who can have access to your internal network. Contract management is another skill you want to be able to upskill with, because it goes a long way in helping you as an information security or a cybersecurity professional understand what the requirements might be or what the expectations might be, whether you are the one providing the service or you are the one ingesting the service. It goes a long way in helping you to understand. And there are several collaborative efforts here that usually emanates as a result of your ability to manage contracts, both from an execution point of view and from, in the case of those who are expecting you to comply with that contract. So, relationship management, customer support, and product management are other skills that you want to also pay attention to, because it goes a long way in helping you, depending on your job relationship to, or your job type, to execute those adequately. Relationship management is very important because you are dealing with a ton of product managers and product owners who go a long way in helping you to manage. It goes a long way in helping you to achieve your objectives. Your customers could potentially be those that you're providing any type of service to. So it doesn't matter whether you are a real customer support professional, but in terms of your work, you're dealing with either a customer or a client in one way or another. So a customer service support skill goes a long way. Cybersecurity entry skill is skill goes a long way.